Hey everybody, good morning. I think it's Thursday today, and I've got a couple of things I'm working on. we're going to spend time, again, working on our Alexa skill. We're going to add some more features to it that let people play with more of the features that are built into Alexa. So that's the goal for today. But I was actually working on something, and that's why I started a minute late. I got a little distracted. But let me see if I can get this running. No, I was not successful. It's going to take me a little more work, I think, to figure this out. Actually, let me try one more thing. So, if you guys recall, way back, I used to do a casino. Well, we called it the Chatsino, and I was looking at the comment that was left yesterday by Gold Zulu about Chatsino and whether it's back up. And so let me see if I might be able to get this running. We're going to try anyway. Let me see if I can, before I go on screen here, let me see if I can get this to work. I don't know if I can, but we can try. So I am right now just working on, come on. I'm working on getting my security credentials and stuff into the directory so that maybe it'll run. I think that's all that's left. Module not found. I don't know what identity was. So I have a file called keys that's like my API keys that never makes it to GitHub, and then I have another file that apparently was called identity, but I don't know what identity was supposed to be. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about it for today. We will get that back at some point. Let me get rid of that file. And let's get over to where I can actually see chat so that I can talk with all of you. And that looks pretty good. Let me see if I can bump up that font size. Man, why is that so small? No, that's the biggest it's going to be, huh? Okay. All right. I guess we'll just live with it. Hey, Select, how are you? Good to see you back. Let me pull this down, maybe. Maybe not. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we are up and running. Let's say no, I don't want to do that right now. And now we can jump over to, of course, my Stream Deck. Nothing is working today. Yeah, nothing wants to work, so we'll just do that. And there we are. We've got some code on screen. We are ready to go. So yesterday, let's get rid of that. Yesterday we added this new Poly voice intent, and it allows you to change the voices that Alexa is using. And so we added just a couple of them. I think we had Joanna and Ivy and Brian. I think it would be worthwhile for us to get the other voices in there, and we can do that here. Let's go back to our tech docs for voices, and just actually I have them, don't I? I have them here. If I go to Poly voice, yeah, I have all the voices right here. So I have all of the stuff that I already need. And all I need to do is, again, this is where using a database to manage a lot of your slots becomes really handy. And I'm just going to copy that, and we're going to go into my code here, and I should be able to just do this. Take these three, and I'm going to get Alexa out of my database because I don't actually want it to work that way. And then we'll take these. All lined up nicely. There we go. And remove the trailing comma. And now we have all the voices in there. And then we have Alexa sitting here as a normal value. So what I should do in my database is I should get rid of Alexa, because you can't actually say Alexa in a number of cases. So we'll delete that field for now. And we'll delete that field for now. Okay, so we have all of this stuff good to go, and we should be able to swap in and out of any of the voices now as we go. So that that populates my slot with all of the voices that are available. I don't know if they're all going to work, or I probably have to. Like if we look at the docs, Vittoria, okay, so it is Vittoria, not some other spelling. I don't know that I have all of these. Like, let's just pick one here at random. Is Aditi in there? Yeah. What about Castellan, like a Conchita? No, see, so I've missed some. Okay, so this is easy. So we'll start with Conchita, and we'll add this to our database. And so, actually, it's just sorted. So I'm seeing all of them. So we'll do a Conchita. This is going to be, what locale was that? ESES. Come on, find the thing. So ESES. And then what was the next one? Enrique and Lucia. I'll remember Lucia. Okay, so Enrique goes here. Actually, let's paste it as is. And this is also yes, yes. And then I said I would remember it, and I didn't. Lucia. Okay. Hijk, Lucia. Okay. So those are in there. Am I missing any others? About Mia for ESMX. Mia. Things get added all the time. ES, but also ES. They can have more than one locale. Allow linking to multiple records, please. So Mia is also ESMX. Now what I should do is I should go through these voices and designate them as whether or not they'll work in a locale, because there's the locale that it's designated for, and then there's the locales that they'll actually work in, and I'll see if I can find an example of that. But let's try. What happens? Well, I have to push everything if I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add this as a note. This is a thing I want to come back and do, but I don't want to do it now. So let's come back in here. Add the rest of the poly voices to the interaction model. I don't know that I've officially done that. I haven't done the full review. But what I do want to do here, add the rest of the poly voices. I also want to verify which voices work in which locales. It would be beneficial to let the user know that a voice isn't supported in their locale. Okay. I don't think that data exists. Again, it's one of those things that, like, this is supported voices. Voice names don't contain accented characters. That's interesting. Why do I have accented characters on mine? Use a voice supported for the skill locale, or use the voice with the lang tag. Interesting. So maybe that's the thing that I ran into in the past, is that if I use a voice that isn't US English, because that's where my locale is, then it expects that I'm going to provide this lang tag. You can see this down here. Down here. So you can see that I add this lang tag when the locale doesn't match the language of the user that the user's currently in. And it's interesting because you can use it without, but it sometimes struggles. So I'm going to have to figure that part out. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that yet, but we are going to have to figure out how we want to do that. But for now, I think we're good. We've got our note. Verify which work in locales. That's good. So I didn't want to spend a ton of time on poly voices today. What I wanted to do was work on prosody. Prosody has a bunch of things baked into it. There's rate and pitch and volume, and so we want the user to be able to say to be able to change their rate or pitch or volume, and combine those with all of the other things that are happening inside the Alexa skill. So as I think about how I want to do this, I think I'm just going to jump into it. So each of these have a prosody tag that goes on them, and then we have a volume or a rate or a pitch. Can I combine them? Could I say volume and rate in the same tag? I don't see them doing that here. I don't know why. You can, oh, here we go. You can combine prosody with all other tags when you set the rate and volume attributes. When you use the pitch attribute, you cannot combine prosody with the tags shown in incompatible tags. What is this? Amazon domain. You can't combine. You can combine news with the voice tag, and the Matthew, Joanna, and Lupe voices. The news style doesn't work with other voices. Good to know. Speech cons are implemented. Say as. Note that say as can be combined with other tags. Okay. I see. So the things that are in this list cannot be combined. So you can't combine a voice and emphasis. Now, it doesn't break. It just means that you're not going to get that nice combination. But it's not, it says invalid SSML, but it's not really. It just won't, it won't work. But it's not going to throw an error or anything, which is the thing I would want to avoid. Amazon emotion, name, intensity. I would think we could probably, if we did prosody, we should be able to do prosody rate, prosody pitch, prosody volume. So first stop, let's make some places to store this data. So we have prosody rate, and we'll have to create a couple more. Insert left. This is going to be prosody volume. And then we'll do one more, which is prosody pitch. Okay, and we'll make those alphabetical because it bugs me. Okay, so I have those three values. This is really going to bug me. I'm storing all of these as strings to make my life easier, but I would really like to have this a little more object-oriented here in my database, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that, at least for now, I'm not making any major changes because it's just not necessary. Everything is working. It's just so that I could see some prettier data behind the scenes, but we can come up with other ways to handle that. So we have prosody, pitch, rate, and volume. Those are in the database and ready to go. So now, how do we want to handle the interaction model? We have, if we look at our intents, we have all of these other intents for, and this is another thing I'm going to run into. The values are tricky. We have X slow, slow, medium fast, X fast, low, medium, high, X high. How is it going to know? If I just say, they're going to have to be specific, I guess. And then do I want to do these all as one intent? Or do I want to do each of it as its own? I don't know. If these were separate items, like if on the right-hand side here, there was pitch and rate and volume as things here, I would almost certainly do them separately. And I don't know why I need to make my code represent the documentation. So I think I'm going to do them separately. It does introduce some weirdness because we have a lot of the same values, low, medium, high, and we already have low, medium, high for other things as well. Emphasis has strong, moderate, reduced. is it emotion? Yeah, emotion intensity has low, medium, high. I haven't even implemented this yet. I should add that to my emotion to do. Emotion. We should also allow the user. This is a tricky one though, because you can't have an emotion intensity without having an emotion. It's a dependency that doesn't exist in most of these other things, but that's okay. All right, so we are focused on prosody. And the first thing that we're going to focus on is rate. So I think we're going to do these individually, so that people can say set the prosody rate, set the rate to these 5 values or to some number. Oof, I haven't taken numbers as a value yet, but this will be fun. So we'll also take a number values to specify a percentage to increase or decrease the speed of speech. Oh, specify a percentage. 100% indicates, oh, I see, 100% is the baseline. I wonder though, if I say set it to 100%, and then I say set it to 50%, that's going to be half the speed or whatever approximation that is. And then if I say set it to 50% again, is it a static value, like there is a 50% speed, or is it going to become 25% and then 12.5%? Because it does say the percentage to increase or decrease the speed of speech, and I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So we're going to start with just our 5 values, and then we'll add some stuff for the numbers as well. Okay, so I think first step, new intent. We're going to call this prosody, and we're working on rate first. Rate, prosody, rate, intent. Okay, and someone's going to say change the prosody. No, change the prosody rate. They might also say set the prosody rate to, and we're going to call this prosody, wow, rate. And prosody rate is going to be a custom value, so I need a slot type that is prosody rate. And values for this are going to be pretty simple. Xslow. We'll add some synonyms for these, but I'll use the default values for what we're trying to do here. Slow, medium, fast, and extra fast. Okay. Slow, medium, which I would have guessed is the default, fast, and X fast. And then in our intent, prosody rate intent, we can set this to be prosody rate. Great. Now we also need set the prosody rate to prosody rate percentage. This one's a little easier to do. This is just going to be a number. Amazon.number. So we'll just use prosody rate percentage as a number. And so we're going to have to check both of those values in our code to see if they gave us anything. And if they don't give us anything, we have to decide what we want to do there too. Okay. Prosody rate percentage, prosody rate, change the prosody. I also need to do some of these rates to prosody rate set the rate to prosody rate. Set the rate to percentage. Change the rate to prosody rate 2. Cool. Why do I have 7? I thought I had an even number there. Okay, so I have set the prosody rate, change the prosody rate. I wish you could reorder these. That would be nice. Set the rate to. That's a good starter kit. We can always come back and tweak and change and grow. Let's go into our JSON editor and grab these lovely pieces that were created for us. So prosody rate intent looks like that. And that's going into our code here. Go up to there. Okay, comma. Great, prosody rate is there, and then we need our prosody rate slot, which is going to be way down here. Boom. Copy. And we're going to put it in a different spot. We'll put it like here-ish. Emphasis, break, voice. No, not voice. We'll do it here. Copy. Paste, comma. Okay. So we have our slot value. Now what we need to do is shorten this up a little bit and add some synonyms to some of these. I've got to imagine that it doesn't say this in the docs, but I've got to imagine that medium is like normal, right? 100% is normal. Come on, Jeff, get it together. It's early. Got a busy day today. Got to get this done. Okay. So in here, I could do a name value ADD, and then we just throw a little syntax like that on there. And we could say extra fast or X fast. Fast, medium, slow. We'll add a synonym for normal here, and then we'll do something similar for extra slow. And X slow with quotes. Okay, we have our prosody rate. We have our model is ready to go. So let's do a little ask deploy, get that rolling, pushed up to the server, and in the meantime, we can talk about prosody. Okay, let's do that, right? Let's just take this whole chunk and do this. So we're going to call this prosody rate intent handler. Let's take that down to, whoa, what just happened? Okay, let's take that down here. Looks good, looks good. Come on. Okay. And then we'll go up to prosody rate intent handler. And in here, this is going to be prosody rate intent. And this is going to be prosody. Prosody. You guys are not correcting me on my typos. Okay. Okay. So prosody, that piece is all good, so I shouldn't need to make any major changes here. So now we just need to take like Polyvoice, which didn't have a ton of logic in it. We use that as our starter kit for prosody rate intent.js. All right, so in here, this needs to become prosody rate intent, prosody rate, and we'll take that and bring it down here, and then we will also put it in our index, prosody rate. And one more time, just for fun, prosody rate intent. Okay, so our file's ready to go. Now we just need to do something in here interesting. So this is going to be spoken rate, and we have 2 of these. So this is going to be what did we call our slot? We called it. Go back to our intent. We called our slot prosody rate. So this is going to be prosody rate, and that means this is going to go here, and then we're going to have to do the same thing for percentages. So let's take 2 more of these, and we'll do spoken rate percentage, resolved rate. No, there is no resolved rate percentage. Whoa, what did I just do? I just moved everything around. Let's bring that back. All right, and bring that back. Okay, we're good. There is no resolution on a number slot, so we just have this prosody rate percentage. Is that what I called it? Yeah, prosody rate percentage. Okay, so we've got 3 values. We also need an action query, and we need the word normal. We will explain. I explained that yesterday, but basically, there are times where I need to say or compare that the user said normal. And as we get further into this with other languages, if somebody wants something that's normal, they're not going to say the English word normal. They're going to say whatever normal is in their language. And so this allows me to get that word from the database so that I can compare and say, oh, did they say normal? Because if they said normal or default or basic or whatever the thing is, then we want to be able to capture that. Okay, so this is where our logic is going to change a little bit. If resolved rate equals undefined, so we did not resolve a rate, and so let's slap an and on here, and spoken rate percentage is undefined, then we don't have any idea what they were trying to do. All we can do is give them like some guidance on ways that they could manipulate the prosody rate. And so we could say here, if spoken rate doesn't equal undefined. Yeah, I'm going to have spoken rate doesn't equal undefined. That means they said something. They said set the rate to super mega. Then I could give them a, hey, let's do prosody. It's a tough one for me to type for some reason. Prosody rate apology, and then we're going to say, let's call this rate apology and rate apology, and this is going to be spoken rate. And then we need to put some data in the database. So in our speech table, we're going to have a new value that is prosody rate apology. And that prosody rate apology can have the same locales that we're using right now. And let's find another apology. Okay. Prosody rate apology is going to look something like this. I don't have a voice. There isn't a prosody rate called whatever you said. You can use values like extra, should I get this right? Extra slow, slow, medium, fast, extra fast. Extra slow, slow, medium, fast, or extra fast. You can also specify a percentage where 100% is the normal value. Okay, so that's our prosody rate apology here. So we're going to get that apology. We're going to replace the actual words, spoken words, with what the user said. And then we are going to let them know that, hey, here's some values you can use. So we're coaching you into saying the right thing. But that's where we have some additional conditions here. If the spoken rate, so this is what they actually said, doesn't exist, somehow we don't have that value at all. So they didn't resolve anything and they didn't say anything. They might have just said change the rate or change the prosody rate, right? We set that up over here so that they could say change the prosody rate or set the prosody rate, right? So any of those kinds of values would work. We should probably, so they could just ask to change the rate without knowing what the values are, and we can just add another. All right. I also noticed that I didn't do this yesterday. Let's run that while we're here. Wow, I have an old version of Node. Okay. I'm running, well, that is an old version of Node. 10.19. Finally, let's make sure our node is up to date. Nothing like a little housekeeping. Keep your day rolling. Yeah, we're on 19. My goodness. Let's do it. No errors, no whammies. Finish. Well, there isn't an any key. Just joking. I didn't really care about chocolatey, but that's fine. So if we come back here, can we do it now? Nope, not that. Do I need to start the terminal over? Maybe. Why do you still think I have the same old version? If I just go to a terminal and I say node, yeah, that thinks I'm running 19. That's great. So why didn't VS Code think that? Certainly looks like Node is on version 19. What if I say it here? It's because I think it's this. Nope, not what I wanted. Yeah, it's the Windows subsystem for Linux, and I need to get what is the node command for update? Is there a way to just do that from the command line? There's got to be, right? Other downloads. Nope, I want none of that. Docs. I want to update. Why is this killing me? Getting started guide. Not really what I wanted. I want... Do I have NVM on there? Maybe I do. Nope. And now my fan is going off. That's awesome. Is there like a Windows... Can I do that? Never done that before. No, I did not mean that. How did I get this set up in the first place? There was a way a long time ago that I got all of this up and running. can't I remember? There's a command list. This is going to drive me crazy. Will that do what I want? Did I type something wrong? GitHub user raw.github-user-content.com nvm.sh nvm 0 v v 0.39.3 slash install sh. What? Huh. And wow. Okay. v0.39.3 install.sh. Okay. Then, once we've done that, we should be able to go back to I don't want any of that. Is it just NVM node? Nope. What did we just install then? In order to install, not npm, I didn't say npm. Wow. Okay. So we're so close, but yet not even slightly. All of this was just so that I could upgrade my version of Node. I'm going to do that off camera. We'll do that another time when I don't feel like banging my head against a desk. So we have our prosody rate intent. Let's get back to what we were doing. And excuse me. We got our apology, but now we also got into this loop because spoken rate percentage is undefined. So we're going to do another if case here. Else if, wow, I just can't, do it. Spoken rate percentage doesn't equal undefined. Then this will be oh man, this is going to be a lot of work because of the two different kinds of values. I've got so many places that I've got to make decisions based on the data. This is going to be hard to keep track of. I hadn't actually dug into these, but like no change from the normal rate. That means that there is this variable that I don't get to see that is a number. Man, this wasn't supposed to be so hard. Maybe I just don't do the numbers for now. That's where it gets complicated. I think I just convinced myself of that. So we're going to come back in here. We're going to get rid of this percentage. I think we'll come back and add it eventually, but I think for now, this adds a layer of complexity that is maybe for what we're offering a little much. So prosody rate percentage can go away. And we'll just boil it down to prosody rate. Man, that's that was disappointing. Okay, so now this prosody rate percentage doesn't exist. Spoken rate percentage doesn't exist, which means this doesn't exist. So now it's basically if they didn't give me a resolved rate, and they did say something, then we're going to give them this. What am I doing if they didn't resolve something and didn't say something? I'm an idiot. Okay. If they said something, great. I've got a lot of thinking to do here. What did you expect to happen when the user doesn't say anything other than to trigger the intent? great question, Jeff. Great question. Okay, well we can move on from that, and we will come back and solve that. For now, let's just get this file working. So var rate is going to be resolved rate, and then rate value is going to be rate, and then rate value, if it's normal, then rate value is undefined, because we want that to basically be empty. And then rate confirmation, this is where we tell them we heard their thing, and we say user rate, and this is prosody rate confirmation, and update user rate. Boy, this is going to be rate value. Okay, so we've got a couple of things we got to do first. Prosody rate confirmation. Prosody rate confirmation. And that gets the same locales as everything else. And then we need to find another confirmation somewhere. I've changed the prosody rate to rate. You can always change it back. By saying change the prosody rate to normal. Okay, prosody rate confirmation is there. We want to, down here, and then this is where we actually set the prosody. So that's going to be the property down here. Prosody rate is going to look like that. Oh, Aaron Stanley, thank you for the follow. Aaron Stanley King, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Let's go into here and get rid of this. No, we'll just do it this way. Prosody rate equals rate, and then down here at the end, this is going to be prosody, and all of that looks good. And then this is going to be rate and rate, and all right. I think we're good. Nope, not good. Session attributes user. This needs to be prosody rate, and then this needs to be rate value. And if rate doesn't equal normal, that's where we do this. Rate, nope. Rate confirmation and rate confirmation, because we pulled that earlier. Rate. Okay. Okay. Is the word voice in there at all anymore? No. Okay. So I think that should get us what we want. We're going to save the data into the database, and then what we need to do is here. I don't know if I don't do it here. I do a. Here we do apply SSML in my helper. So apply SSML, and we're going to have a new one called prosody rate. Okay, so if prosody rate doesn't equal undefined, then we are going to do a new prosody rate that is equal to prosody rate. There's no intensity on those. And this is just ending in prosody. Okay. That should do it, maybe? We'll see. We'll find out here in just a brief moment if that's going to work. We're saving our value into the database. Update user prosody rate. We haven't built that file yet. Update user. Well, we use this one from yesterday. Save as update prosody rate.js. And let's see, update. I didn't call this all user, did I? I did. Oh, man. Okay. Let's rename this file. Prosody rate. Okay, we need to add that here. Update user prosody. That's going to be here. User. Great. And then update user prosody rate. This is where this is going to be rate. This is going to be rate. This is going to be prosody rate, and this is going to be rate, and this is going to be rate, and I think we're good. Update user prosody rate. Should we just see if the magic will happen? Should we just? No, we should probably do one of those, and then do one of these. Well, the code compiled at least. That's a good sign. Nothing too broken. Oh, okay, so we just got to wait for latest changes to be made. I'm going to go fight with Node here in a little bit. That's the thing that drives me crazy about some of this. Like, I've got Linux running on Windows, and inside there, at some point, I installed Node. But I don't remember how I did that, and the ways that I'm trying to do it don't seem to work. So frustrating. I didn't want to spend my day installing Node. But I will do that later. I will do it later. All right, we are waiting for our build to happen. So this is where we're pushing all of our interaction model, all of the stuff that modifies how the artificial intelligence interprets users' speech to our skill. All of that is being uploaded and built to create what we call an interaction model for Alexa to understand how to communicate with our code. That is building right now. That should just take a minute or so, and then we can go ahead and do local debugging, where I'm actually not even going to run the code side of things, my backend system. I mean, I uploaded all of my code to the cloud, to the service that it'll be running in eventually. But for now, what we're actually doing is we're going to use a local debugging console. I've basically built a tunnel to my machine. That tunnel runs directly here. It allows me to run breakpoints and everything else right here in my code. I'm hoping I won't need breakpoints for this simple change, but we will see. Come on, build. Let's go. There we go. I don't know why you tried. NPM is not known to. I don't know how I got such an old version of Node, but I think we deployed successfully. Well, we'll find out here in a second. Okay, code is running, so we can come to our developer console, and we should be able to say something like, well, let's make sure everything's working first. So let's say, change the voice to Brian.
I've changed the voice to Brian. You can always change it back to Alexa's voice by saying, change the voice to normal. What would you like to try?
So this is how I like Brian's voice to sound. Fast. If this works, it may totally break.
I've changed the prosody rate to fast.
There we go.
You can always change it back by saying, change the prosody rate to normal. What would you like to try?
I'd like to try celebrating the fact that that worked on the first go. We can see that prosody rate is now stored as fast in our database. And so for the rest of the time that I talk with Brian here or anyone else, it will use a prosody rate of fast. So I should be able to say, change the voice to Ivy, which is a little girl, I think.
I've changed the voice to Ivy. You can always change it back to Alexa's voice by saying, change the voice to normal. What should we do now?
Change the voice to Brian.
I've changed the voice to Brian.
Set the prosody
You can always change it back to Alexa's voice by saying, change the voice to normal.
to extra fast.
What can I help you?
Make sure my synonyms are working.
I've changed the prosody rate to X fast. You can always change it back by saying, change the prosody rate to normal. What should we do now?
Change the prosody rate to tacos.
There isn't a prosody rate called tacos. You can use values like extra slow, slow, medium, fast, or extra fast. You can also specify a percentage, where 100% is the normal value. What should we do now?
Ooh, I should take that out for now. Speech. Prosody. Rate. Okay. So, looks like it's working. A little celebration, right? We got it. We did it. Thank you, everybody. Very quiet chat today. But I think all of that is working quite nicely. And so we should be able to say, let's do one more. Change the rate to fast. Fast Brian is where it's at.
I've changed the prosody rate to fast.
Yeah, that's good.
You can always change it back by saying, change the prosody rate to normal. What should we do now?
Well, we should call it a day. Yeah, probably call it a day. I've got a bunch of recording I got to do today, and with that requires a very specific costume and a shower and a shave. I got to clean it up because I got to look the same. I'm recording today. I'm recording on Monday, and I'm recording like 2.5 weeks from now, and they all need to look the same. So it's also a justification to not start my diet because I don't want to lose too much weight in a few weeks. I'm just justifying that to myself so I can eat pizza. But we did it. We did the prosody rate. So let me add one more note to myself just as we're thinking about this. I like to have a list of things to do. Add a prosody pitch intent. Add a prosody, what was the other, volume intent. Okay. So those are both good. It's weird. It almost feels like chat isn't working. I mean, there's a few of you here. I appreciate anybody that's going to tune in, but it's weird that nobody has said anything today. We had such a lively conversation yesterday. Not necessary. I'm just getting some work done, but it just feels like something's broken. Okay, so prosody pitch, all of those are good. We can stop our debugging. We're going to save our file. We're going to come in here, and we're going to go to the right repo, and we're going to say added prosody rate intent. Commit, push. Ah, weird. Okay, it was Twitch. Well, Aaron, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the chat. I'm glad you're here. But it's weird. I don't know why it would have been set to members only or followers only. I don't normally lock that kind of stuff down. But anyway, we're building a skill that does all sorts of cool stuff for Alexa skill developers. So if you're a software developer and you want to build an Alexa skill, this thing is going to do all the stuff. So you should be able to try and play with any of the features, but you can also just talk to the device and like kind of compose sounds and hear it say all sorts of crazy things. If I say like give me a SpeechCon, I think we have some of those in here somewhere. Maybe. Give me a SpeechCon. Is that part of my model?
Gee, what would you like to do next?
Cool. So there's all sorts of fun things like that. She'll just say, "Gee, wow!" Now all sorts of chat coming in. Yeah, Kev, you've got it right. I really the reason that I do that, which may seem a little broken, is that if you look at the build tab, when I come in to create a new intent, I have all these different values, and I have I'm creating a couple of slots like these slot values that I have over here. And I find that honestly, creating that stuff here, if I come into like intents and I create a new intent, like creating this stuff here is actually a pretty useful tool, and it generates all the JSON that I want. But I am working from VS Code, and so the reason that I'm pasting that stuff into this file is because when I deploy this, it's going to overwrite everything that I've done up on in the browser. So I'm really just using the browser tool as a JSON generator for me, so that I don't have to I generally don't remember this syntax. I don't remember when we get into slots. I don't remember like exactly how this piece is formatted, and so I find it easier to just type the stuff in that I want, grab the JSON, paste it into my doc, but I have to put it here because if I deploy like that ask deploy command that I ran, then I would overwrite all the changes that I made. So that is why I'm just using it as a JSON generation tool, but it's not that's not a necessary process. If I was willing to just remember this syntax or copy and paste this syntax here, I could just do it here. I'm just a little lazy, I guess. But that's the reason. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't even need this window open, right? I would keep this one open for testing. But this thing here where I'm adding intents and doing all that stuff, that's the only reason. No big deal. But it's not a necessary part of the process. It's just because I prefer the way they generate the JSON for me, for the most part. All right, I am out for today. Got to run, get the shower, get all the stuff done, and I think there's a good chance I'll be on tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what a good regular schedule is for me. Wednesday, Thursday seems to work pretty well. Friday should work, but it's also a day to like catch up and get everything done. Aaron says, that's a cool flow for me. I do similar stuff and other things. Even if there are extensions and templates, I still sometimes use the web app. GitHub tasks are like that for me. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Everybody kind of works at their own way and their own stuff. I wouldn't say there's any wrong way. I've seen lots of people that are very successful building their skill only here, right? You could come in, if I built a different kind of skill, they actually have a code console here, and you could do all of your development right here in the browser. That's not for me, especially when it comes to testing. I want to be able to run locally. I want to be able to set breakpoints on my code and see what's happening if I run into an issue. But yeah, I'm with you. I appreciate the feedback though, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry whatever I did to chat. I'm glad you guys are back and chatting. So, okay, with that, I'm gonna sign off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll do this again tomorrow. I got more I want to get done. All right, take care, everybody.